Frank Castle doesn't sleep. Not like we do. Because for the Punisher, sleep is a weakness, a risk, a cousin of death. Frank Castle is at war. He doesn't have the luxury of rest. Every second he sleeps is a second the scum of the world gets to breathe easy, and that's unacceptable. His mind won't let him stop. He's driven, obsessive, and constantly haunted by his family's murder in Central Park. He sees it every time he closes his eyes, the screams, the blood, the silence after. And sometimes it's worse. There was even a time when the Punisher had nightmares where Kingpin tortures him, where the criminals he had slain before had manifested as demons and come for revenge. Sleep isn't peace for the Punisher, it's another battle. When he does sleep, it's shallow. He's always paranoid, which is why he usually sleeps armed, pistol under the pillow and sometimes in the bed sheets. Why? Because he knows if someone finds him unaware, it's game over. Every breath he takes in his sleep could be his last if he isn't ready. So how does he do it? How does Frank Castle function with almost no sleep and still destroy entire crime syndicates? The answer primarily lies in his training and the application of his training during war. The United States Marine Corps. During the Vietnam era, it was known to be not only physically rigorous, but mostly psychologically challenging due to physical and verbal abuse, and through sleep deprivation, not only to break down their civilian identities, but to ultimately build them up to be combat ready when deployed. Even if you wanted to talk about the other versions of the Punisher that served in the Iraq, Afghanistan, or Gulf War, you would have to consider the Crucible. Now the Crucible is 54 hours of hell, minimal food, only 2 to 4 hours of broken sleep, hiking over 40 miles, and fire watch rotations that leave you with barely 1 to 2 hours of true rest. It pushes you to the edge, and then keeps pushing. And if that wasn't enough, there's Navy SEAL style conditioning, most notably Hell Week. 5.5 days, less than 4 hours of sleep total. Most candidates hallucinate, and some ring the bell and quit, but Castle didn't. Moreover, you have to consider SEER training, especially during the R or resistance phase of training. During the resistance phase of SEER training, students are placed in a simulated prisoner of war environment where sleep is deliberately restricted. They may only get an hour or two of rest at night, or sometimes none at all for extended periods. The lack of sleep quickly wears them down, causing extreme fatigue, mood swings, and even brief hallucinations like the Crucible. This deprivation is intentional. It's designed to harden them against the mental and emotional strain of capture, conditioning them to endure isolation, coercion, and pressure while maintaining their identity and resolve, so they can survive and return with honor. Moreover, we have to discuss further on the traumatic experiences when he was at war. For veterans like Frank Castle, the war doesn't end when the mission does. It follows you home, haunts your nights, and turns sleep into a battlefield of its own. Post-traumatic stress disorder rewires the brain to remain on high alert, even in supposed safety. For the Punisher, every time he closes his eyes, he's dragged back to the horrors of combat. Explosions, screams, ambushes, and death replay like a reel on loop. The body can't relax when the mind is stuck in survival mode. Nightmares blur with memory, making rest more dangerous than being awake. He's not just dodging bullets in his dreams. He's reliving the slaughter of his family, the chaos of war zones, and the helplessness of failure. His sleep is shallow, fragmented, and soaked in trauma. That kind of mental battlefield would break most people, but for Frank, it's just another war he refuses to lose. Now, Frank Castle doesn't rely on REM cycles. He lives on power naps and micro sleeps, which isn't good for true rest, but he engineered his mind to use it for combat recovery. If he's lucky, he gets maybe 4 to 5 hours of fragmented sleep across an entire 96-hour mission. That includes recon, travel, execution, and escape. He's mastered the art of resting without vulnerability. When he does sleep, he probably prefers to sleep with his legs elevated and eyes closed. 8 minutes here, 12 minutes there. But even when resting, he's always planning and preparing. So what does this all say about the Punisher? It means he's not superhuman, but he's trained to be inhuman in the ways that count. Minimal sleep, no comfort, no softness, and yet he's sharper, more lethal, and more prepared than anyone he's hunting. The Punisher's sleep cycle isn't about rest, it's about control, it's about vigilance, and it's about pain turned into purpose, and that purpose is to bring punishment to those that deserve it, and that is why he wins. To conclude, the Punisher operates on the edge of human endurance, physically, mentally, and emotionally. While most people break down after a few nights of bad sleep, Frank Castle barely sleeps at all. We're talking about a man running 72 to 96 hour missions with maybe 4 hours of broken rest, if that. Combat readiness, hypervigilance, PTSD flashbacks, and nightmares from losing his family make true sleep impossible. His body has been hardened by military conditioning like the Marine Corps Crucible and sleep deprivation torture simulations in SEER, which are meant to break soldiers to prepare them for war and capture. A normal man without this level of discipline, trauma-forged willpower, and conditioning would crash hard. Most would emotionally snap, physically collapse, or start hallucinating within days. For Frank, this is life. For anyone else, it's a death sentence. Now, with that being said, do not try this at home. So what do you guys think? Do you think that his sleep cycle is even possible, even for those that may have shared a fraction of what he'd been through in training? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Punish that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. The Punisher Mythos is out.